welcome all the participants for the talk on a lecture on entrepreneurship, which is organized by Srinivas Institute of Technology, Institute Innovation Council under the Impact Lecture Series 2022-23. Now I request Dr. RamakrishnaN Hegde, HoD, AU and Automobile Engineering and Aeronautical Engineering Coordinator, IIC-Srinivas Institute of Technology, to enlighten us on the Impact Lecture Series 2022-23.
Thank you, Shashank. A very good afternoon, all the participants and the founder and our own alumnus, Mr. Akshay, CTO at Fetchit LLP, co-founder and director at Growth Associates, director, head of marketing and international expansion at Convener-IIC LLP. So as you are aware, most of you are aware, SIT is, of course, since the last October, is part of Institutions Innovation Council, an initiative by the Minister of Education, as well HRD. And we are very happy to say that Srinivas Institute of Technology is also part of it since October. And under the guidance of AICTE and Institutions Innovation Council under MOE, the institution is organizing many lectures, especially in specific fields like entrepreneurship, intellectual property, innovation, and so on and so forth, just to enlighten the students, especially the budding engineers from the institution. As I mentioned, this is an initiative taken by MOE and purely focuses on the innovation part of any student in an institution, especially in HEIs, higher educational institutions. And when we talk about the innovation, I think innovation is, of course, omnipresent everywhere, but in particular, a lot of innovations happen in the field of engineering and technology. So considering this, the IIC has selected Srinivas Institute of Technology as one of the institutions to impart the Impact Lecture Series 22-23. So this, the institution is planning under IIC to conduct 4 such lectures by the experts in their own field, in particular in entrepreneurship. Maybe it could be a startup ecosystem, it could be lecture series on innovation, or it could be on IPR, etc., etc. No limit as such. So department, as well as the department in the sense IIC of SIT, is planning to conduct the second series of this Impact Lecture Series, maybe in the same month, 15th of July. And the main intention, as I said, to expose our students, give an exposure for students, the budding engineers, the kind of exposure which is required once they graduate from the institution. That could be in the form of entrepreneurship, it could be starting your own startup ecosystem, or it could be an expertise in, say, getting the patent of your work which is being done as part of a project, or it could be your own project itself during this 4 years stay in the institution. So this Impact Lecture Series begins with Mr. Akshay. He is a very successful entrepreneur and of course a founder of Fetchit startup. Of course, he started this when he was a student in Automobile department, the final year, and it's the right, I think, choice by the coordinators to invite him as an expert because he's a successful person in this area. And whenever there is an alumni of the institution, and at the same time, as a successful person, it is connecting in a better way to our own students. So there is a reason why we have chosen Mr. Akshay, founder CTO at Fetchit LLP and co-founder and director at Growth Associates, director, head of marketing, international expansion at college. So I request all the student participants listen to the next 1 hour or so, the expert lecture, the impact lecture on this particular ecosystem, startup ecosystem, and how to be a successful entrepreneur. And of course, Mr. Akshay is geared up to give more inputs and share his own experience so that this could be a motivation to all of you, so that by the end of the 4th year, when you graduate, so that institution can expect a lot of patents, startup ecosystems, or your own industry. This is what the intention of this impact lecture series. So hopefully all of you will listen patiently and have a lot of interaction with Mr. Akshay, who is going to give this first of the impact lecture series on entrepreneurship. Thank you. Shashank?
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Akshay to start the session.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me here. And I'm hoping everyone is having a great day today. So yes, as Mr. RK Hegde sir, as he said, I'm someone who jumped into the startup ecosystem while I was still in college, while I was still in my second year of automobile department at SIT. And it wasn't a very conscious decision. It was somewhat like, I accidentally jumped into that system. And being someone from a tier 2 city in India, a city like Calicut, which is a small city in Kerala, I'm not someone who was exposed to a lot of startups, or I'm not someone from a background of a startup world. So it was a really nice journey along the way. There are a lot of things that I learned. There are a lot of mistakes that I made, and so I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to share few values, few lessons that I learned along my journey. And so I'm guessing most of the students who joined here are interested in entrepreneurship, or wants to do something related to a startup. And therefore, the number one question that you have to ask yourself is, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Or why do you want to jump into your own ecosystem? Why do you want to start up? This is the number one question you have to ask yourself. In my case, while I was in my second year of my college, I'm someone who had a backlog and I lost a year. And so I had to sit a year at home. And during this period, obviously, instead of wasting time, I decided to do something of my own. I decided to, see what is happening in the startup world, because during that time there was a lot of demand for startups, and there were a lot of startup campaigns happening. And I and my friend, we used to sit on these long phone calls, talking about ideas, and figuring out what needs to be done. And there's always this constant pressure from your society, from your neighbors, that if you screw up your college, or if you screw up your schooling, you're done. You don't have a future. This is what the society has thought. So what my mindset was, if someone is not going to give me a job because I lost a year or a couple in college, why don't I start something of my own and start giving others a job? So this is the thought process I had, and to be honest, the very first startup which I had in my mind, it's something that I learned from college. It was focusing on the students